Good morning, everyone, and welcome to yet another game of golf with your friends, this time with George joining us for the first time.
Thanks for having me on, everyone. I'm sure this will be a fun time and a good learning experience for me since I haven't played this before.
The basic explanation is you have to hit the ball with a certain amount of power and aim in order to get to the hole like a normal game of golf, though. This game has gimmicks that are impossible in the real world, such as weird gravity and jetpack additions to some holes.
Your first shot was good, though. With time, I'm sure you'll do way better. And also, before we get too much further, I should mention we're doing 10 holes instead of the normal 12, as adding more characters will cause the game to be longer in itself. So this will make the videos not last way longer than they should.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Your shot was pretty good, though. I don't see that many ways to mess up here. I'm thinking we can all get it in 1 or 2 shots.
To be honest, the first hole is usually not that difficult, so it'll be a lot more complex later on, so be ready for the difficulty to ramp up.
And just as a spoiler, the Donald himself is going to win, so be prepared to get second place at best today.
Wait, why did you call yourself the Donald? That's kind of weird how you just know the future or something.
Well, you see, Donald likes to just make things up and act like they're true. Especially with his golfing instincts, he claims he has, even though they've been consistently wrong since the 3rd or 4th course we've played.
Oh, okay, I guess that makes sense kind of, but I'm still not sure how he can tell the future or where he gets his ideas from.
No idea, but also I have to say we also sometimes cut ahead if everyone essentially makes the same progress in a hole to save time for the viewers and us.
To answer your question in your head, I basically look at my golf ball as a crystal ball that can tell me the future, and it indicates to me what is going to happen.
And just in case you weren't clued in, I'm pretty sure I've won the most of these games so far, despite not being able to allegedly tell the future.
Well, I guess that's a good explanation of what's going on. It's almost like what happens when a television show gets rebooted, or another season where things are explained more clearly to the audience that might be tuning into it for the first time.
I think it's also, there's been 10 parts so far, and we can't expect everyone to have watched all of the previous ones that have come out. Granted, I think it would be a bit unusual to start at part 10 of all things, but I imagine there's at least a few people who have done that.
And since it usually takes us longer to complete the holes, it gives me a lot more time for me to tell one of my stories that everyone enjoys.
I really don't feel the need to hear another story right now. And dang it, I almost made it up that glass tube. Or at least I think that's where I'm supposed to be going now.
Yeah, some of these angles can be pretty weird, so it's understandable that you didn't make it. Then again, since it's your first game, I wouldn't inherently expect you to come out on top, but once you get a hang of things, you'll be able to compete with us properly.
That's the nice way of Ben saying you're definitely not going to win and you suck at this game with only a slight chance of getting better.
That is not what I meant, though. If I were to have said it, then it would also have been true. So it is something I may have said under the right conditions.
I'm not sure what that means, so I'm just going to keep playing and hope I get better.
Unlikely, but maybe you can keep hoping and one day it might come true, but I estimate that won't happen for quite a while.
Calm down, Ben. It's his first game. There's no need to be judgmental or doubtful towards him.
I'm not sure what I'm doing, aside from my standard factual and logical speaking that I do all the time, so this is not anything you shouldn't already be expecting.
I may not be the best at remembering things, but even I can't forget your legendary failure at the end of the volcano map. When
Shut
you
up
were
shut
so
up right now.
confident the whole rest of the game.
Dang it, I missed again.
Okay, point taken, but George, if you want to start being successful with golf one of these days, just make sure you know when to give up with a strategy. You may fall victim to the sunk cost fallacy where you will be so focused on trying to achieve something based on the amount of time and shots you have taken that you will lose any lead you had. In this case, you're in last, so you have nothing to lose, but I'm sure you get my point.
Looks like some of us are making it in. I'm playing it safe, so I don't keep making your mistake, George. Sorry it worked out that way, but I'm not trying that strategy if it doesn't work.
Let me show you how it's done.
Do I even need to say it, Ben? You already know what I'm about to say.
Yeah, I get it. You don't need to say it.
Wait, what? I don't know what you were going to say.
That worked perfectly except for that part that didn't, which was all of it.
I don't understand. What does that even mean?
It's basically Barack's way of saying that, a shot that didn't go well, but somehow he says it in a way that no other human has ever worded it before and also after, unless it was someone like me mocking his phrase.
Somehow it just kind of became my catchphrase. So I say it more often when something doesn't go well, usually during other games of golf.
I still don't think I really understand, but okay, hey, Donald and Joe, what's going on with you two? We haven't heard from you in a while.
I've just been focusing on making my shots in and not getting involved with the conversation.
And since you didn't even make it in, you're not doing that well on it either.
Not like you're doing any better, old man. You're in the same spot as I am.
Guys, all of us are pretty old except Ben and arguably Barack. There's no need to bring that up as a negative.
Are you kidding? Joe is so old when he was assigned a social security number, they hadn't invented numbers yet. Joe is so old that he can prove evolution is real because he's watched each stage personally from sea creature up to humans. Joe is so old he was around when black people were.
Be very careful on how you finish your next sentence, Donald. I have the feeling something racist is coming up.
Hey, it wasn't racist, just that it was before black people could vote.
Oh, yeah, I remember very clearly. Good times, good times.
I'm sorry, Joe, can you elaborate on what you mean by good times? I'm not quite sure what part you were referring to that was good, and I need you to tell me very clearly what you meant.
Oh, no, I sense I said something wrong.
We need to get back to the game before this gets worse, George. That was a good shot. Those crushers looked pretty bad, but you got yourself over the gap and are in a good spot.
Thanks, Donald. Your shot was also really good, definitely different, but you're in an even better position to make it in.
Yeah, those shots were fine, but certainly better than Barack's shot, which shows you need to be careful on when you shoot your shot.
I want to shoot my shot at Merrill, if you know what I mean.
Joe Merrill is in Metal Gear Solid. That's the wrong game. And also, Ben, you missed your time in 2. So I don't want to hear your criticism when you do the same.
It was different since I made it further, and also I'm better than you, so there's that to consider.
Speaking of better, I just got a hole in one. I didn't even know you could do that here.
Who would have known Sleepy Joe had the best shot of all of us?
Ah, man, my timing was off. Otherwise, I think I would have gotten it in right then.
That's all right, you're already in last. This is more of a learning experience rather than an actual attempt to win.
Okay, I get the point, Ben. Also, nobody asked your opinion.
My opinion may have not been asked for out loud, but I can always tell when people want to hear from me. And that's when I speak my mind, since it is tested and proven to be the most valued opinion of all the conservative online personalities.
I don't think that's backed up by anything except you just saying it is, though.
What is backed up by facts is you missing this shot. You had a first good shot, but you aren't really taking advantage of it, and now you're falling behind even more.
Yeah, I get it. I'm the new guy, and I'm not doing so well, but I'm getting the idea of the game figured out. There's no need to constantly bring up me missing as if I don't see it.
I think he's right. We don't need to keep mentioning each time he misses, since there's not much point in it if he learns from his mistake.
Yeah, you're right. I know what will brighten up the mood to distract from George being in last place. Another old-fashioned Joe story to entertain everyone.
Everything you do is old-fashioned.
So there I was with my good friend Ugly Joe and Harold. I'm sure I've mentioned them before. It was the year 1873, and we were all looking for something fun to do. We discovered an abandoned cave, which was really weird because I didn't know caves were abandoned. We went through and discovered it was completely pitch black to where nobody could see, even if they had a flashlight on. I took out my flashlight anyway, and we were able to see. I asked if Harold would go forward because he was the most experienced with caves, but there was something we didn't see coming, which was ironic because my flashlight was facing towards. It was a bear, and it tried to eat Harold, or rather it succeeded. I guess because Harold was eaten in one swallow. The bear didn't even chew, which I don't think is good for his digestive system. Ugly Joe and I left the cave and somehow didn't see the fact that there was a sign at the front that said, "There is a bear who lives in this cave who eats people in one swallow without even chewing," which is probably bad for his digestive system, though it made sense that I didn't see it as my flashlight wasn't on when we entered the cave. Harold sacrificed himself for us, and I always keep that as a treasured memory. The end. Well, did you like my story, or are you stunned by its fantastic delivery that you can't even talk?
No, Joe, that was a horrible story. It was literally just you talking about how your friend died and how you led him into a cave that wasn't a sacrifice at all. You are a terrible storyteller.
Huh, that's weird. I always tell the story when I visit the local elementary schools. They just kind of stare at me because they like it so much.
Look, I don't even care if I lose the game. I just don't want to keep hearing those stories.
How is it that Joe has an IQ of 35 and somehow is winning the game? I didn't even know that was possible.
I'm just really good at multitasking, winning and telling great tales of my previous adventures before I met any of you. Anyway, there's these black holes which I think we can use to get out ball forward, but I'm not really sure how they work.
Just do it like me, except make it all the way in instead of right next to the hole like I did.
Don't get too excited about getting in the lead, Barack. I'm coming right up here, too.
Don't count me out yet, guys. I'm getting right over there, too. You better believe me.
Hey, George is finally making a decent shot and didn't throw it all away immediately after. I wasn't sure I would get to see that today.
I wonder if you can do the same thing or if you're going to fail.
I'm going to succeed like I always do. You're about to see it.
I suppose it wasn't a total failure, but you're definitely not gaining any ground against the rest of us this time.
I hope I can do the same.
Your shot was fine, but you don't have the best angle to make it in, though you might be okay to get it in one more attempt.
Okay, that's fine. Keep doing a deep analysis of every time someone hits the ball. It doesn't matter since I'll be making it in without issue and won't even fall behind by that much. So you'll see me at the top of the leaderboard soon.
All right, Ben, that's enough boasting for a while. We still have a few holes left. And if we're lucky, then the black holes will not impede our progress any further than they already have.
That's fine, as long as Joe keeps missing like that. The black holes won't be needed to at least keep him away from first place.
Well, actually, I'm tied for first place. Meanwhile, you're tied for last, so I don't want to hear your confidence keep coming when the score doesn't reflect that.
You know what I have had enough of you two focusing on the match as if you're going to win. It's been so long since I've had a victory in one of these matches. And since I'm tied for first, I'm not letting anyone else beat me to my victory. I don't even need my golfing sense for this.
That was months ago on the candy map I've seen. Kind of fitting you would win that one. Perhaps if we find a McDonald's map, then you'll have a good chance.
Yeah, all right, that's pretty typical to go for the easy joke, but I'm not giving up until I win, which is going to be now. Or rather in about 10 minutes, actually, but you get what I mean.
Hey, I don't think anyone brought it up since it happened during Donald's rant about winning, but did Barack's ball just disappear or something? He didn't make it like the rest of us.
My ball got crushed due to that pillar hitting it. And since it happened so quickly, there wasn't much time to process it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I am serious about my win. It's been so long since I've had my own chance to be on the top of the leaderboard, and even back then, it was a tied win, so it wasn't the same. I've been sabotaged so many times, especially during the previous map, with all the fossils of dinosaurs that Joe probably knew personally, so I'm fully in this to win now. I'm staying ahead, even if nobody else likes it, because I am the Donald.
I would like to believe you, but even though you're in first now, you haven't done much that would make you be in first place more than anyone else. I think you'll just have to hope others mess up to a point where they can't catch up. Then you might get it.
Doubtful I'm going to be winning right now.
And how do you plan on doing that out of bounds, Ben? Are you going for a secret hole down there that nobody knows of?
No, that is what some scholars refer to as a mistake. Even the best, such as myself, make them on occasion, and this just happened to be one of them. But this is not indicative of any sort of failure on my part to win. So you'll keep watching me get ahead.
Honestly, I think I'll have to take Donald's side here. He is really close to the end, but you're still pretty far behind.
Wow, thanks, George. I like hearing the opinions of a newcomer who is also in dead last, so I was hoping I would be hearing from you right about now.
Last time I checked, you were tied for last, and I'm also ahead of you on the map anyway, so I definitely won't be last by the end of this hole.
Yeah, you get him, George. Don't let his discouragement throw you off at all. You've got this.
Shut up, Barack. Nobody asked you, plus you haven't done anything useful in this game. I don't need anybody else's distractions.
Yes, keep fighting each other. It will only make my win even easier.
Ben, I think you have to calm down, otherwise you're not going to be focused on the game while being mad at others.
Oh, wow, Joe, I didn't even realize you were still alive, but that's good to know. And also, Donald, how do you even mess up a shot like that, you idiot? It was right in front of you, and you still didn't hit it hard enough.
All right, I've had enough of you, Ben. If I'm losing, I'm making sure you lose too. I'm not going to take your constant insults
Wait, what?
just because I'm new. Plus, you don't even deserve the win anyway.
Oh, really? Now, George, is that the way you're going to be? Glad you're finally getting a backbone, but that was very unnecessary.
It was also unnecessary for you to hit that pillar and go backwards even further and make negative progress. But here you are doing nothing of value again. Have fun running out of time.
All right, everyone. I think it's time we step back for a moment and think about what we're going to say before we make anything worse. There was a lot that happened, and I don't want it to go to everyone's head.
Yeah, George, if it makes any difference, a lot of our matches go like that, so it's not uncommon for things to get a bit heated.
I would also like to formally thank everyone for not focusing on their golf strategies as much and making my inevitable win even easier. It really helped me out a lot.
Don't get ahead of yourself. Aside from Ben's falling apart partially due to me, I don't think you actually got yourself higher up on the score. I think Joe actually still did better than you.
Yeah, it looks like I'm getting out of time. Thanks for ruining my chances of winning, George. I suppose I was a bit irrational in my responses. Sorry if I took it a little too far.
That's all right. Thank you for acknowledging your faults, and sorry I let it get to me as well.
To address what was mentioned earlier, yes, Joe did do better this time, but I'm second place, and due to George's inexperience, he isn't a threat, and Ben isn't either due to the sabotage that occurred last hole.
Guys, I'm a little confused on how this hole is supposed to go. Is the way Barack went intended, or are we supposed to use these windblower things?
Wow. Joe being confused, who would have guessed? In all honesty, I think Barack's strategy was correct, though the win might be an option if we want to take a shortcut. But if I have any chance to be ahead, I'm just playing it safe to ensure a chance to win.
It looks like hitting the right angle is a bit tricky, but thanks to a certain someone, I don't have any chance at winning anyway.
Oh yeah, that was me, and yeah, it looks like I missed too, so this may be harder than I thought.
At this point, I think it's mainly a competition between myself, Donald, and Joe.
If you keep it up, you're going to be out of it too. So if you want to continue overshooting, that would be nice.
Oh, please, I missed one shot. I'm not doomed to lose this match or anything like that.
Maybe Donald's right. I haven't seen all of the matches you've had in the past, but if he's only won once, then he's sure to win at some point again. I think that's statistically likely.
In theory, yes, that would be correct, and maybe I've already mentioned this before, but just because two possibilities could happen does not mean they are equally likely. A good example is when I went to...
I'm going to stop you right there, Ben. Do you honestly think any of us are going to follow along with your example, much less learn something from it?
Hey, I'm sure I could have. Just because you have the attention span of a walnut doesn't mean I do too.
Wait, did you say something about an attention span? I don't remember what I said before.
There's the Joe we know, not knowing what the conversation is about while also hitting his ball back to where it just was.
If he keeps that up, then Donald, you just may win like you said after all.
I know I'm right, and I'm glad someone else finally agrees with me.
I'm coming up right behind too. Don't discount me yet. I can still hope for everyone else to get a 20 on this hole, and the next one it could happen.
What was that you were saying earlier about things not being equally likely? I think that's what you said. I've never heard of someone trying to cope with the fact they can't win at a game of golf like this before.
I'm not coping, you're coping.
George, do you plan on making any progress today? Because based on what I'm seeing right now, I don't think you're going to finish this hole at all.
I just can't get the angle right to start. I might get a 20 this time, but I don't think I have a chance at winning even if I did make it in now.
That's all right. It will all come to you naturally once you get more practice in this game, and you might win one in the next course or so, but we won't know until then.
I'll keep trying to make it in now at least. Not much else I can really do at this point.
Yeah, everyone else is making it in, so there's not much else really going on until the last hole.
As typical, the Donald makes it in with no worry in his mind about losing, since that is what he does not do from this point on.
All right, I'm going to do it now.
Okay, seriously, George, do you need to take some of my pills? What's going on with you?
I don't know, somehow I'm just not hitting it right, and I keep falling down. There's something wrong.
What's wrong is your gameplay, and I don't know how to put it any other way. But you just aren't good at the game, though I think you will improve in the future. It's just a hard learning curve at this point.
Okay, now it's time to make a better move.
Fall, do it now. Heard you wouldn't.
Okay, I'll try it again. I've got it this time.
I sincerely doubt it.
Okay, next time for sure is my chance.
It's over, George. You have to accept failure when it comes, which in this case is right now.
Aw, man, I was so close too.
Quick correction, you were not close at all, but speaking of close, Donald and Joe are tied for first, so their shots are going to be vital coming up now.
I'll admit I was doubtful at first, but it's actually getting really close, and Donald might pull away with his first victory in a long time.
As soon as I finish up with my shot, which is going by really slowly for some reason, then we'll see how they do.
No pressure, Donald, but if you fail now, it will be your 7th loss in a row for the golf games we've played.
Wow, thanks, Ben. That didn't help me at all, but me making it in here certainly did.
Oh, good, I'm glad you're in. I'll see if I can make it, but yeah, there's no chance for me at this point.
Hey, I was thinking, have any of you considered having other people on for these golf games aside from me in the future?
Actually, yes. I've been thinking of asking one of my Daily Wire members if they want to come on to golf with us one day. But I think we're going to mainly focus on Metal Gear Solid more than anything else for a little while. After that, though, we should have someone else on.
That would be great. It's been a fun time when I'm not getting insulted for my skill level, so I'd like to see someone else come along.
Guys, I think Joe's turn is coming up. We're about to see if he can keep up.
You know what time it is? It's Bidening time. Oh, that's not what I meant.
What is Bidening time? Is that a good thing?
It's actually a reference to the movie of all time, Morbius, where Dr. Michael Morbius allegedly says it's Morbin time, but Joe has changed it to where he says it's Bidening time with varying results.
Unfortunately for Joe, it's not Bidening time as I'm in the lead, and there's no way I can be stopped from where I'm at, so this game is basically over now.
It is theoretically possible that you fall apart and lose. However, I'll admit it is unlikely, though we cannot be certain until a couple minutes have passed, and then we'll know what is going to happen.
Unless all of you plan to sabotage me at the same time, there is no way I'm losing this since I'm so close.
Guys, I'm not trying to bribe you or anything, but would any of you be willing to have a few accidental shots at Donald's ball in exchange for a few Biden dollars?
Do we even want to know what a Biden dollar is?
Oh, it's a new currency I made up, where if you give me the dollars, you can pay me for various things to do, such as a Biden dollar is good for one hair sniffing to your child of choosing, or you'll get an exclusive ice cream date with me, Joe Biden, or you can even put that towards stocks starting in the year 2028.
Joe, I have to say you've had some awful and insane ideas in your lifetime, but this has to reach the top 5 for sure.
How did I miss that? How is it that all of us missed the hole, yet we're all so close to it?
All I know is it gives me more time to catch up. I'm still not out of it yet. I can get through without giving away any Biden dollars after all.
Nobody wants your Biden dollars. They have no actual value.
Dang it, I missed that too. I was so close.
Thanks, George. The position of your ball makes it hard for me to get in, and now I'm going to miss it as well. How are we missing this yet again?
I don't know, but I have a really bad angle here, so this isn't looking good for any of us.
This just gives me even more of a chance to win. Mainly if Donald misses again, I don't really care about the others doing it so much.
Hey, Joe, was that offer for Biden dollars open to me if I wanted to sabotage myself?
I hadn't really thought of that, but I suppose I would be open to that option.
I'm not actually going to take any offer you made. I just wanted to know. Unless, of course, your Biden dollars can be exchanged for you not running for president. Then I would take that for sure.
But you already made it in. The offer would be worthless.
Yeah, well, I was hoping he wouldn't notice.
Nope, you've won after all. Congratulations, Donald. You definitely deserve this win after a long time of not having one.
Yeah, it does feel good.
Thanks to George for joining us for the first time.
Thanks, everyone. It was great to be here.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And as always, peace out, people.